70% of us are stressed. 40% of us feel like it negatively affects our lives. And then 25% of us have health issues related to it. This is serious stuff. How can we make a change? How can we feel better and go about in our lives less stressed? Last week I shared with you about how we have to have fire in our lives, passion, to do well, but it's a balancing act. We also need the water element in our lives to feel better and to be calm and serene. So it's a balancing act. And when I talked about fire last week, the passion, those recordings are on my website, Energy Flows, and on the YouTube channel. And if you joined me before, this is a whole different talk. It's new ways to help that you feel better so that you can be better in your life. I have 4 key points today. We'll deal with stress triggers, your mental state, your nervous system, and the power of water in our lives. We'll also practice a bit of Shinjutsu and be able to drop our shoulders, receive a breath, and be calm. Stress triggers. How do you deal with them? Too many things to do. Setting priorities. Things aren't going well at home maybe, or in work. And I don't know about you, but I've had times when I've had so many things to do that I write them all down and try and cross them off, and maybe the next day the list is almost as long as it was the day before. Plus the new things that are added on. I used to write post-it notes to remind myself if I had an important thing to do. Because if I missed it, it would be a big deal. Like if there was an electrician coming to my house, I had to show up or I still wouldn't have power. There's so many ways that we have to deal with things in our lives and so many things that we have to do. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just want to stop the world and get off. Sometimes I just want to stop the world, take a break, and relax. So this is your time to figure out, this is your time to deal with stress and to see how to change how you're thinking about it. Now, according to Mental Health Ireland, stress is a natural and healthy response to a challenging situation. It's only when things begin to pile up and we get overwhelmed that it's a problem, because it affects our ability to cope and to get on in life and to be there for the ones that we love. Now, I heard a really interesting TED Talk a while ago by Kelly McGonigal, and her title was The Upside of Stress. And she was highlighting the fact that stress can actually be good for you as long as you manage it. And what her key phrase after I read her book that I took away from it was, stress is what arises when something you care about is at stake. So it's a great signal to us to pay attention. And that's a good thing. But sometimes it doesn't feel that way. We get brain stress. I know we don't have any nerve endings in our brain, but sometimes it just hurts and I feel the pressure. That's probably my muscles on my head pressing in, but it's not pleasant. And it makes me feel like I'm just going to explode, and I don't want to feel that way. So what if we could change how we think about stress and maybe ease it a little bit? So let's talk about reframing stress. We can look at it as all these things coming in on us. And we can also get a bigger picture and look at how stress and our increased awareness and our increased focus can help us to make major changes or minor changes in our life. It's an opportunity to rise up to the challenge. It gives us the motivation to get things done. And because of the changes in our body, it gives us the energy to go and do them. So if we can think about stress, frustration, and anger, how it challenges us to move forward, that same energy helps us to have passion and to access our creativity. So maybe if we get angry and frustrated, we can hold our middle finger like I talked about in the last talk, and it can ease it. And then we can also bring some calmness into our life, the balance between the fire and the water. We do need the fire in our lives, but when it gets to be too much, we can get burned out, have adrenal fatigue, and chronic tension. Our bodies need the fire. Our beings, our psyches need the fire, but we also need time to recoup and repair. So we still need the fire element in our lives, because if it's just calm, if we have too much water in our lives, it's kind of like a flood or a tidal wave where everything gets wiped out and we get bogged down. And I don't know about you, but when I'm too calm, maybe feeling a little bit with low mood, I feel like I'm covered in water and I can't breathe. So to balance out that calmness and the down, I need to bring some fire into my life too. So let's talk a little bit about what goes on with our nervous system when we have a stress response. I was looking at a bunch of diagrams of how our nervous system works, and they were very complicated. So I decided just to pull out a couple points. And we have a very complicated body that serves us really well and lets us show up in our lives for people. And it goes into so many ways and so many different complicated systems, whether we're talking about our muscles or our skeleton or our nerves or our skin. All these things come together to let us move through life. So just to focus in a little bit with the stress response on our nervous system. And it's much more complicated than I ever thought it was. I knew about our nerves where if we touch a hot stove, our nerves tell our brain that we're in pain and we better move our hand or we're going to get seriously damaged. So that's one part of our nervous system. Another part of our nervous system is the part that lets us move our hands, wave them around, and to reach out and grab things or to reach out and hug our loved ones. The part that I wasn't as aware of is our automatic nervous system. They call it the autonomic nervous system. And this is the part of our nervous system that takes care of everything else that's going on in our body that we're not even aware of on a conscious level. And this autonomic nervous system has two states. It's kind of like a switch that gets flipped. When we are stressed, when we're in danger, we have our fight-flight part of our nervous system triggered and turned on. This is our sympathetic nervous system. And what happens when that is engaged, our heart rate goes up. Our adrenaline is increased. And all this is so that we can be prepared to do the things we need to do to stay safe. And that might mean running off from the classic signal or the classic example is a tiger. If you have a tiger in front of you, you're going to need to book out of there. So you better have your heart rate pumping all the blood around your body and your adrenaline giving you that extra energy, and breathing faster, and oxygen going through your body. And that's brilliant. But if we have that all the time, we get burned out. It's too much fire in our body. Now, the other part of this automatic or autonomic nervous system is our parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the other side of the flip, the other side of that automatic nervous system. I think of the parasympathetic nervous system kind of like a parachute, parasympathetic parachute. Because if I've jumped out of a plane and I'm hurtling down towards the earth, I need something to slow me down so that I don't crash on the ground. And that's what our parasympathetic nervous system does. It allows our body to relax, to heal, to recover, to be more calm. When that part of our nervous system is activated, our heart rate decreases, the adrenaline goes down, and our body manufactures other chemicals like oxytocin. And that allows us to be relaxed and to heal. And it's also the love hormone, so it's a double bonus. But when we have these stress responses, we can switch our nervous system a little bit by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. One of the ways you can do that is by slowing your breath down. By meditating. And my favorite form of meditation is Shinjutsu. So that's the stress triggers, and that's our nervous system. I still want to talk to you about kind of a rabbit hole. And in honor of the water energy, please hold your little finger. It helps us to relax. I'll talk more about it. I had heard the statistic that our bodies are more than 70% water. Okay. And some parts of our bodies are even more water. And then I heard about how we're affected by the seasons and about the moon cycles and all that. And then I heard about how this Japanese doctor studied the effect of positive and negative energy on water. So this has implications for us since we're so comprised of water. Now, if you look at the pictures of the crystals here, the ones at the top are much more regular, much more symmetrical, and in my opinion, much more beautiful. Whereas the ones at the bottom are much more chaotic, irregular, random. And I don't know if I would call them ugly, but they're not as pleasing. The top images are all about positive energy, whether it's truth, eternal, peace, wisdom. Thank you. And what this researcher found was that when he put the water in the presence of positive thoughts, positive words, positive energies, the water changed structure. It's all detailed in his book, The Hidden Messages in Water. And it just brings to mind how we know that when we talk to ourselves negatively, we don't feel as well, and we can kind of have a downward spiral. And when we're nicer to ourselves and give ourselves compliments and we mind ourselves, we feel better. So just food for thought. Maybe this shows how that change can be, how we actually have a change in our structure, a change in our bodies by having positive experiences and positive thoughts. So a bit of a rabbit hole, as I call them, but really interesting. And you might like to look into that more. A little bit different, more practical application now. We have a lot of positions on our body, 52 of them actually, safety energy locks. And these are like, if you think about your house and your electrical system, because we have fuses, and if a certain area is overloaded or overstressed, the fuse goes and it protects the system from crashing or catching on fire. Very much like that, we have these energy centers in our body that give signals to us that tell us that our body needs a little bit more support. We need a little help. We need to pay attention and ease the stress and the tensions in that area in our body. We have one safety energy lock in our body that relates to the water energy, or fourth depth, as we call it in Shinjutsu. And it's just on our back at the base of our rib cage. There's a picture here in the slide where you can hold. And that specifically helps to harmonize our water element. Now, this is a little bit more esoteric again, but when we are in harmony, when our body's in harmony, especially in this area, we can flow through life and we're aware of our destiny and we're able to have good circulation and to feel well. But if that energy has gotten caught up or waylaid or anything, we can experience fear. And when we're in fear, we get stuck and we can't move. It's harder to show up. We have more stress, more tension. So it's to our benefit to keep this area of our body in good harmony. And we can do that by holding our back in that place. And then our finger helper for that place in our body is our index finger. So if you find that your shoulders are tense or it just doesn't feel good to go back there, you can always hold your index finger instead. And one of the things that I find useful is you can hold your back with your hands, palms facing your back. Or if it's easier for you, you can put the back of your hands touching your body, touching your back. And the body knows, it'll still remember what it needs to do. So while you're holding your 23s with your palm side or the back of your hand side, or you're holding your index finger, I invite you to join me on the shore. Maybe close your eyes, sit back, relax. And if you've ever been to the ocean and taken your shoes off, the sun's beating down on your face and your shoulders, and you walk through the sand, you can feel the little nitty grits of sand between your toes, and the top of the sand is hot, and as you go down deeper, it's cool and refreshing. And you come up to the ocean's edge, and the waves are lapping up. As you step into the water, you feel the coolness. You feel the motion of the water washing over your feet. And your feet are still resting on the sand. And if you dig your toes in, it just feels so good. Sometimes we can just stand in the water for a while. Feel the sunlight warming our bodies and our souls. Feel the water drifting over your feet. Maybe you've gone in up to your ankles, and the water is just taking away all the tension, all the momentary stress, all the little bits and pieces that have accumulated from your day. Such a nice place to be. I'm going to move us on to another favorite type of atmosphere or environment that I have. And again, it's with water. Water is so important. When we go to a park, often there's a lake or a river or a waterfall. And there's a place to just sit down and relax and take it all in. So I invite you to join me by one of my favorite water features. It's a lake in a local forest park, Donadee Forest Park, if you live nearby. And instead, let's move on and try a different way of helping our beings with a mudra. And this is a specific hand position that helps to harmonize our beings. And we hold our little finger, our ring finger, and our middle finger. Gently, no pressure, just cradle it, lovingly hold it, and relax and breathe. This is one of the mudras that Jiro Murai used to heal himself back in the 20th century from his fatal illness. It wasn't fatal anymore. He recovered, and he devoted the rest of his life to developing the understanding about how the body works and how to help ourselves. When we hold this mudra, it releases excess tension, transform our worries to wonder, and helps us to regenerate. It also helps us to reduce our daily fatigue. So join me in your mind on this nice bench. Settle back, relax. You can feel the sun beating down on your face. You can hear the birds singing in the background, and the wind whistling through the trees and the leaves. And you can see the water and the mist rising off the water. And there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, just to be present. Your body is taking care of you. It's giving you the experiences you need, the support you need, and as always, the energy that you need to get through your day. That allows us to show up for the people in our lives. So I invite you to hold your other hand with the mudra, with the little ring and middle finger. And I'll tell you just a little bit about the background of Shinjutsu. I already mentioned Jiro Murai and talked about his recovery. And if you've been with me before, you've heard about how he found that there were energetic pathways in our bodies that helped us and supported us in specific ways. And these meridians, or energy pathways, go all the way through our bodies. And there's some that take care of our whole being. There's some that take care of specific aspects of our being. They've been well documented, and we can work with those through our hands and through the safety energy locks in our body. One of Jiro Murai's students, Mary Burmeister, brought back the information and developed even more understanding about how to help ourselves. And it's been spread throughout the world. You can find Shinjutsu practitioners in any country. I just signed up for a couple of practitioner databases, and it's very interesting on the JSJ Inc. site to see how many practitioners there are. There's one for a site for America, and they have practitioners all around the world. There's also one for Europe that's out of Germany. And then there's another entity, the Jinshin Institute in America. And there's so many people doing Jinshin Jyutsu, and even more who are practicing it like you are right now today. So you can have Shinjutsu in your life right now. You're practicing Shinjutsu. You might not have realized it because we hold our hands all the time. It's an innate wisdom in our bodies to help us feel better so that we can be better in our lives. You can learn more by going to a class or having a one-on-one session with a practitioner. And we can show you all the different ways that we can help ourselves. Because if you have challenges in one area, for instance, say you're not sleeping well, certain flows and holds will help more than others. They're more efficient. If you're feeling stressed or frustrated in your life, another set of flows will help. If you're feeling not so great, maybe you have low mood, Shinjutsu can help with that as well. And then there's one safety energy lock on the body and some flow pathways that can reduce healing time after surgery. It's all about your body's innate wisdom, the core understanding of how we are in our lives and how we show up. Our body knows. It knows how to be well. It just sometimes needs a little bit of help. And sometimes, if we're not feeling well, we need even more help. And I remember a good number of years ago when I wasn't feeling well. I had some health issues, and I definitely needed more help. And I went for sessions, and I started to feel better. I even got independent verification that confirmed what I already knew in my being and in my body. But I had some blood markers for an immune disorder. And after a while of receiving sessions, it improved so much that on one lab report, the technician marked "see marked improvement." My doctor said they never write that, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And going for a session is a wonderful experience. When you come in for a session, we chat for a little bit. You slip off your shoes and slip off your worries. You lie on the padded table. If you like a nice warm fuzzy blanket, that's available to you. And you lie down and just relax. There's nothing for you to do. Just to relax. Let go of the tension and breathe. And as I share the time with you in the session, I hold the space for you. And I bring my experience and my wisdom to help you to feel better. As I'm holding the space for you, I move the energy through the flow pathways by gently placing my hands on your body and bringing it along and reminding it how it used to be, how the energy is supposed to go, and to help you feel better. One of my clients who was in had been really stressed and really tense, and I saw her relax. I heard her breathing change. It went slower and deeper. I saw the tension on her face relax. She had a furrowed brow, and it just melted away. And I could feel all the tension in her muscles gently soften and relax as the tension dripped and released from her. One of the things that I've learned in the last year, a blessing from the lockdown and the restrictions, was that it is possible to receive the benefits of Shinjutsu even if we're not in the same room. We connect energetically and electronically, and the body can receive the benefits and you can feel better even if you're in another country or another city. And I'll share a story of, I had a client in Europe. I won't say where because I want to maintain her anonymity. And we were connected very much like we are right now, except we were both on the call at the same time. And she had her cat with her. And I could see the cat, and I'm doing the energy flows, and that's grand. And her cat was lying on her tummy. As I went to move my hand to rest on her 14s, which is very much like the 23s except in the front of the body, the cat was in the way, and I was thinking, how's this going to work? I'm like, well, it'll be okay. And when I moved to put my hand in that area, her cat moved at that moment. So amazing. So I carried on with the flows, and she continued to breathe and to release the tension and to feel better. I've had wonderful results. I've received sessions from other practitioners, and my clients tell me that it's amazing. It can make such a difference in our lives. And it's a real blessing because for me, I can't go get my hair cut, but I can definitely receive a session. So I hope that gives you a bright spot in your day. And another thing that I'm offering to you and everyone is that there's a bank of information. I've done a series of talks for the mind-body experiences. And these are amazing events with so many wonderful practitioners. I would check it out. But I've brought all my talks together, and I've put them available for access through my website. If you go on the main website, there's a purple button that says Mind Body Talks. And if you click on that, it takes you right to the page with access links to all the talks. And there's titles and everything. There's also some information sheets that if you wanted to receive, I'd be happy to send them out to you. Just click on it and tell me which one you're interested in. And the other place that the information is available from all the talks, just as if you were here now, you can see them on replay. They're on the YouTube channel. So it's energyflows.ie or Energy Flows on YouTube. The takeaways from today. We've spent a bit of time together. And I've talked about a lot of things, but the most important ones are your body knows how to take care of you. Your body knows how to be well. And you can help your body and help yourself anytime, anywhere. I have a free gift for you if you're here with me in person or if it's in replay. I've prepared a short page of tips from the talk, and I've included a bunch more that can help you transform your stress to serenity using the water element. The other thing that I want to raise to you is that Shinjutsu is for you. If you'd like to experience more Shinjutsu with me, you can book for a self-help class or self-care class or a session. And these can be done electronically through Zoom or WhatsApp, or once things change, we can meet face to face. Really looking forward to it. So for more information, it's energyflows.ie, and you can also reach me by phone or on social media. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Be well. Thanks so much.